Hey guys, welcome back to Metroid Prime for the Nintendo Wii. As I adjust my Wii sensor bar, we're gonna be continuing Chozo Ruins today. I think we got a majority of the stuff done in this episode, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, your first trip to Chozo isn't really that long of a journey because there's not much you can really do. Even when you start getting
Yeah,
some powers, there's still a lot of stuff that you can't do right now.
if I could get positioned around. That's one thing I had to get used to with this freaking Wii version is just turning around. It became a kind of a chore.
Oh yeah, you're used to playing the GameCube version, aren't
Yeah,
you?
this is the first time I've actually played the trilogy version of this game in particular. So it's just like trying to maneuver around is kind of a pain in the butt because it's just like you control your whole movement. It isn't like kind of stiff movements with the GameCube controller.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's better for that reason because it
Yeah, it
allows you
is.
to do more.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I kind of agree. Now that I played the Wii version, I've come to the conclusion that yeah, this is probably the better version of the two to play. I'm just so used to playing the other version all my life because I played the GameCube I don't know how many times. So
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with the GameCube control scheme because it definitely worked for that kind of controller, but it's definitely one of the more interesting, unique control schemes for a first-person shooter.
we got giant tentacle eyeball dudes just coming over here. Um, this is for the charge beam if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is to get the charge beam.
Yeah, this is
Um,
100% optional, but it was a part you had from the tutorial.
yeah. I was wondering if I couldn't remember if this is optional or not. I didn't know if you could skip this or not.
I think out of all of the upgrades you lost from the beginning section, I think this is the only one that's optional. Because everything else you need for something, like you need grapple beam for something, or you need morph ball bombs, and missiles, and such like that.
This is so stupid how late you get grapple beam back.
It's
Like,
like one of the last things. I don't know why
I'm
it's so
like,
deep in the game.
everybody like I don't know what the deal is with grapple beam, but you get it back so late and you're just like,
Yeah, by the time
I
you get
don't
it,
know.
use it for like 3 things, and then you forget you have it until you're going around for optional parts.
And then the funny thing is like in Metroid Prime 2, you get it somewhat in the middle of the game, and then you get another upgrade that makes it completely pointless.
It's like a weird trend with like the Metroid Prime games specifically. It's they do whatever they can to make the grapple beam just kind of there and useless.
It's just like, hey, you remember Super Metroid? Super Metroid had this awesome ability called the grapple beam, and you could swing across the chasms and all that other stuff. Yeah, you also got space jump, which makes that completely pointless. Ah, stupid.
Even Super Metroid kind of had the same issue. A grapple beam is one of the most useless powers in Metroid because a lot of the times when you have it, you have other abilities that just negates it. Like you can just use speed booster to negate it half the time, or space jump, or even warp ball bombing.
So basically, it just takes up a space in your pocket, and you just don't know why.
Basically.
Basically you get it, and it's cool movement option, and then you get something better, and then you forget that you have it.
Oh well, this is useless. Throws it out.
Pretty much.
The best use of grapple beam was in Metroid Prime 3 because you also used it to pull armor off things, and it was like the only time they did something with grapple beam that wasn't hang to wall.
Oh, I think here, there's a upgrade or an expansion that you can't get normally unless you really try. I mean, you can sequence break to get it, but they want you to come back when you get a certain power up later. But the Wii version of this game has an ability that makes it completely,
Well, I know which one you're talking about. I mean, it makes
yeah.
it easier in this version because what you're talking about, you can still do in GameCube. It's just harder.
Yeah, I know you can still do it in GameCube. Yeah, I think I've done it in my Let's Play. But yeah, the thing right there, we don't have the ability yet to get it, but I think we can get it if I remember correctly. I think I'll try it here.
Well,
You have
you
to
can't
come
get
up
up
here.
there, like, at all.
Yeah. I thought about that. I think that's what I thought about. I was like, wait a second.
You probably win a
I'm
morph
missing
ball and you
something
start
here.
flinging your wrist around like, why aren't I jumping? Joke's on you. You don't have spring ball yet.
Yeah. That's the thing. The Wii version of Metroid Prime has ability which, I mean, wasn't in the GameCube version, which allows you to just jump in the morph ball with the flick of the Wiimote, which is really nice. Really helps out so much.
And it's kind of
in a lot of
busted with Prime
situations.
1 and 2, because you can tell was not designed for spring ball.
Yeah. Prime 1 and 2 just were not designed for this mechanic whatsoever. Be sure to scan that door, because that door is a special, like, scannable. Whenever there's an event that locks the door and you have to solve a puzzle to do that, that's kind of a missable scan, so be sure to get that. We got Toadface over here.
I just like the picture. It makes it look like he's barfing out a ball.
Yeah. I always thought that was funny.
I mean, he kind of does that. If you get sucked up by him, he just spits you out for a while.
Yeah.
Tastes bad.
Tastes bad, man.
I really need to sit down and play a Metroid game. Like,
I think
all
you
the way
should.
through.
Metroid's one of my favorites. Is my favorite, like, Nintendo franchise overall. Really.
You mean above Zelda?
Yeah. I'd have to say it's a little bit above Zelda. Wasn't there a funny glitch you could do with this boss, Lester?
It's not much of a glitch, more like you can kind of abuse some hitboxes, because right where his eye is, that piece is like such a big hitbox that you can stand on it, and also like stand on it to enough where you can still aim at the eye, but you need double jump for it, which you don't have. So you just stand on the guy's head, wait for him to come up, and then just shoot him, and then the fight's free. You just have to kill the wasps, but the flamethrower you can completely avoid.
This boss also has another special type of war wasp. These are barbed war wasps. They only show up during this boss fight, so be sure to scan them when they come into being.
This game likes doing that a lot, where they're gonna make a one-time scan like in the middle of a boss fight, and it won't just be because of the boss.
I think this is like one of the only times that this occurs in the game. Like, one of the few times that it occurs in the game, because I can't remember any other events that have like, oh, look at this special enemy type that only appears in a boss fight. It's not like Metroid Prime 2 where it happens all the freaking time.
That's probably what I'm thinking of then, yeah, because I know one of the Prime games makes a lot of like special enemies for bosses that are unique entries, which is a pain to keep up with.
Yeah. I think it's only in this level with the Hive Totem and the Incinerator Drone that have the special enemy that you can't see anywhere else. 'Cause I can't remember it happening during any other boss fight in the game. I really can't. They don't really throw too many missiles. I mean, yeah, there's a couple missables, but they don't throw that many missable scans in Prime 1.
Yeah, I mean, since it was the first game they did scanning with, it has the least amount of entries. Then you get the Prime 2 and 3, and you have a novel of scanning.
Yeah.
Full-on book.
Trying to remember everything in Prime 2 when I was recording that game. Holy crap, man.
Good luck with Prime 3.
I forgot. I can't wait for Prime 3 until I start recording that. That's gonna be... I gotta go play through it again. I forgot so much. I only played through Prime 3 like legitimately like 2 times. So I need to kind of go and make sure I get everything right this time.
I mean, it's such a good game. It's like one of the very few games I've ever played where after my first playthrough, I did a second playthrough right afterwards. Like, it's one of the very few games I've done that, because immediately after I beat it, I think I tried one of the harder difficulties.
Morph ball slot. Basically, jump in here and put a morph ball bomb in and activate the switch. you got a timer. You gotta get over to that other switch while the water's down, and as you can hear by the beeping, you have a timer, so you have to hurry and be careful. And
She's
this
using
is
this
also where
version
you
with
get
Spring Ball.
Yeah, like I said, Spring Ball just I abused the heck out of it because that's such a good addition to this version.
Yeah. Well, one thing about the Prime games, anyways, is that normally the fastest movement is just Morph Ball, but with Spring Ball, it's even faster because you don't have to wait for the bomb explosion just to get a jump. Now you just fling your Wii Remote.
Yeah.
So the fastest form of movement got faster.
Oh, wow.
See, I just jumped in it.
This is going to make a lot of Morph Ball puzzles a complete joke in this version because you can avoid some of the waiting times, making timing easier. And if they have crumbling blocks, that's more chances you have because you don't need to put a bomb on the block.
Yeah.
Again, you can tell this game wasn't designed for Morph Ball because that breaks those kind of puzzles.
There's one puzzle in
Ball.
particular for an expansion later in this level that Spring Ball just made me abuse. I just abused the heck out of Spring Ball for that puzzle. Makes it so much easier. Forgot if I had to scan this or not. I said nope. I don't have the ability.
Before you have the ability, there's no entry. But then when you get the ability, I think there's an entry, which is confusing.
Under normal circumstances, if you're playing the GameCube version of this game, you have to put a bomb down, a Morph Ball bomb, in order to jump. So, having the ability to just jump back up, so much fun.
I mean, you only have 3 bombs, too, so this essentially gives you a 4th Morph Ball jump.
Yeah. I'm kind of envious of you, Lester. You said you had the Steelbook version of Metroid Prime Trilogy?
Yeah, because I got this game around the time it was originally releasing, so it was with the Steelbook. Which had, like, a poster and a slip-on cover and everything. That poster's really cool.
I kind of wish I had that. I didn't buy this game at launch, so I only have just the regular Wii cover.
My timing was lucky on that because when I was getting into the Metroid series, like more seriously, because at that point the only game I played was I think Zero Mission for a few minutes at a cousin's house. Not much. So when I actually was getting into the series, the trilogy came out on the Wii, so I asked for that for Christmas and got it that year. And then a few months later, they discontinued it because they just didn't have enough stock.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. See?
Oops.
You can
broke open the gate, though.
Normally. Yeah, you can sequence break this early. They expect you to have double jump or space jump boots in order to reach this, but you can reach it with a bomb.
Yeah, with right timing, you can do this with Morph Ball bombs in general. But it's easier to do with the Spring Ball, because then you can just plant bombs down normally and just kind of abuse the time more.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of rusty with this. It's been years. Yeah, it's a little precise, and it's been a while since I did it. And plus, I'm playing a new version that I haven't played before. The control scheme and everything, it's just kind of wonky. And I fell down. But it happens.
That's what you get for trying a new trick.
Yeah.
We get for sequence breaking.
That's what I get for trying to do it fast. This is the only series that I like sequence breaking because I get power ups early and I don't have to worry about going back and getting them.
Well, it's also one of the few game series that does have an in-game timer, so when you beat the game, you can see how fast you played. And pretty much every game is really good about the in-game timer, except Metroid Other M, because that in-game timer is absolute garbage. I don't know why, but someone decided, hey, you know what? If you skip cutscenes, the cutscenes still count for your in-game timer. So in-game timer is completely useless if you're skipping cutscenes. It's not accurate at all.
I never.
It took me 6 hours. Wait, no, it only took me 2 to play the game.
Well, you almost had it there.
I know. I haven't actually played through Metroid Other M yet. I've played a little bit of it, but I haven't, finished it yet. I need to do that one day.
It's
I was
alright.
really
It's
thinking.
definitely one of the weaker Metroid games, but it's not terrible. The story is
There we go.
probably the worst part, definitely.
I was thinking that might be a stream game one day.
Yeah, it could be a good one. Gameplay-wise, I think it's pretty good. It is a little weird at first to control, though, because you're flip-flopping between horizontal and vertical Wiimote controls.
Well, I finally got to that expansion after, like, what, 10 minutes? I feel like.
The average speedrun strat.
Now that we have
I
more
can save 1 minute, but waste 10.
Now that we have more ball bomb, I'm thinking I'm going to be backtracking to a couple things to get certain power-ups, because now we have bombs. It just becomes a little bit easier. And the freaking cursor keeps disconnecting in the Wiimote. And I honestly think that if this game does come to the Switch, it would really benefit from it, because there wouldn't be a lot of that happening.
Well, it would kind of be impossible, because you don't have to worry about the sensor bar anymore. You just have to keep on recentering your controllers. The biggest problem going back to sensor bar games on the Wii is just the sensor bar itself. Because IR pointing technology nowadays is just really finicky.
Yeah. It actually worked pretty well. The gyro controls and actually worked pretty good for Mario Galaxy on the 3D All-Stars. So, I actually really enjoyed that port. I didn't think, I was like, how are they going to get Mario Galaxy to work on Switch?
Well, I kind of had an idea because they did that NVIDIA Shield port in China, and from what I heard, that was a really solid port. It ran nicely, and the cursor control was just mapped to, like, the right stick. So, like, if they can do that, it's easy enough to translate that to a gyro control.
Yeah.
I did hear, though, if you're playing that in handheld mode, it is one of the worst controlled games in a while on the Switch, because you have to keep on stopping what you're doing to control the cursor with the touch screen.
Yeah.
And it's really awkward from what I heard.
Yeah, man, don't forget about the expansion before you go leave.
I like how you just looked at it before and then you started to walk out of the room.
I don't know what was going on during this part. I literally was completely brain dead during this part. Like I was having a lot of hard times. Like I was literally here past Matt. I was like, Matt, what are you doing? Why are you leaving? There's an expansion here. That's the whole reason why you came in here. Chozo Ruins is kind of neat because you can get a lot of expansions by just taking a quick trip back to rooms you've been in when you get a later ability like bombs. Bombs is like the biggest thing in the game when you get that you can go backtrack for in Chozo Ruins, because yeah, there's a lot of bombable stuff. With that in particular that we just got, and there's going to be another one in this room. There was actually 2 expansions in this room. We kill these dang war wasps.
Yeah, the least favorite part about fighting these guys is that they don't sit still. So unless you get a lock on immediately, they're just a pain to fight.
Here you go. Another expansion. See, there's 2 of them in this room. Sometimes they'll do that. They'll put 2 in a room.
I mean, it's really good right now to get as many missile packs as you can, because starting out, you don't have enough missiles for a lot of stuff. It feels very grindy at times when you don't have that many missile packs. But I feel like once you get to around 30-ish missiles or something like that, you can start doing a lot of different things in the game without worrying too much on your missile numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like the default 5 they start you with is just not enough half the time, and you have to get a couple packs to start doing things without grinding for missile drops.
I'm actually going to use this exit to go back. Because I think this actually leads to another... I can't remember where this leads.
Well, this should lead to the elevator to go to Magmore Caverns, your next area.
Yeah. You can just leave if you want to.
That's true. Nothing is stopping you from going to the next area now, because you did just take an alternate route. Like, what they intend for you to do is to go from this section you're in now, because there's a boss fight in this area, because this is like a boss for every main area in Metroid Prime. and this is leading out of the fight. But you don't have to fight the boss here if you want to just get a move on. You could always do it later.
Yeah, you don't even have. You can just skip the boss. It's kind of funny that there's so many. Like, you'd think that this game would be as linear as it is. It isn't really that linear.
Yeah, although I would probably recommend doing this boss before you go to Magmore, because it does have a power that makes Magmore a lot more doable compared to your current state.
I wouldn't suggest going into Magmore. You can leave, but the moment you step in Magmore,
Prepare to die.
Yeah, you're just gonna die. It's
Yeah,
just
pretty
let's put it that way. It's just like Metroid Other M, where you had to go through that one section without it, and you was taking complete damage the whole entire time you're doing that.
I was just Adam kind of forgetting what you had in your arsenal. Like 10 minutes later. Hey, activate your various suit. No, I didn't forget you have that, I swear.
Why is that a danger to the camera? Like, I understand why during that segment where they're like, oh well, you know you gotta authorize you might be you might harm the other team members with your powers and stuff like that. So I'll only authorize you using certain weapons and stuff like that. How is a suit upgrade going to hurt someone?
My biggest question I have with that whole event is that one's already questionable enough, but then there's one part in the story where Samus just says, because she's not hearing from Adam anymore, she's like, alright, I'm going to just activate some powers on my own. She's going to authorize her own stuff. But then when she does that, she only authorizes like a handful of things, and I'm sitting there thinking, you still have a couple other things locked. Why don't you activate your gravity suit or your power bombs? Like, what are you doing?
This is the puzzle I was talking about that you can use Spring Ball to kind of bypass a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, because the last switch is a little tedious on GameCube without it.
Yeah, they expect you to bomb jump, but you don't. You can completely skip it if you don't want to.
Yeah, instead of doing 3 bombs to get a jump, you could just do 1.
See, just like what I did, but I didn't skip it, but I did it legit.
Well, since this is still like you're warming up to using Spring Ball anyways, it would take a bit for you to. It would take a little bit for you to learn the timing on that, because it's at the apex of the Spring Ball. You let go of the ball, the Morph Ball bomb, and then jump back up. But you have to know the timing, otherwise you're gonna miss it. And you were kind of having that issue earlier.
It's kind of crazy because as soon as we go through this door, we're gonna get another energy tank right here.
Pro tip though, if you wanted to get this tank and go back to the elevator, immediately turn around, go back in that door, because that's a one-way.
Yeah, that's a one-way if you jump down. I didn't do it because I just didn't want to deal with it, so. Because I gotta go back and do other things. We gotta go fight the boss here soon. But I'm trying
that's a one-way, because when I first played this game, I didn't know about that, and I was getting ready to go to Magmore. So when I got the energy tank and I seen the door lock behind me, I'm like, oh, now I gotta walk all the way around again? Come on.
This the remainder of this part, I think we're just collecting collectibles at this point, because there's a lot of stuff you can get when you get bombs. So we already got 40 missiles. That's ridiculous.
I mean, at this point, you're almost like a third of the way there, because I believe the Prime games were all 250 missiles max.
250 or 255, I can't remember.
Because it's like every other Metroid game flipped that number.
I don't know what the deal is. Like, I think it was Prime 2 that had 255. And I'm just like, what? Why? You guys always end up at 250. Why'd you end up at 255 this time?
Yeah, it was weird, because, yeah, Metroid Prime 1 does end with 250. Prime 2 ends with 255. So, okay. Just gave you an extra pack.
Yeah, they could have just given me an extra pack, because you already have a weird number with energy tanks. I think it's like at 11 at when you finish, or something like that. By the way, those scarabs, I think I mentioned this before in previous episode. I had an experience of playing a hard mode. I was trying to speed run this game. I stepped on those scarabs by accident, killed me instantly.
Yeah, they're not fun on hard.
They're not fun on hard mode. The scarabs will just flat out kill you.
I think I remember
Yeah.
trying that once in the Wii version. And this is like immediately after I played the game. Like, all right, I'm going back to the normal mode, or what GameCube considered normal, because this is too much for me.
Yeah, because isn't there a weird like difficulty, like discrepancy?
Yeah, because
In
they kind of added a new difficulty for the trilogy versions, which is basically an easy mode, and then they kind of renamed things because of it. Because normal mode in this is easy, and then hard mode is the GameCube's normal, and Veterans the GameCube's hard. They kind of pulled like a Mega Man 2 when it came to difficulty names.
I always thought that was weird. Yeah, yeah, I think we got almost all the, if I remember correctly, at this point, we have all the upgrades we can go, we can collect at the moment. So I think we're just gonna be backtracking to get one more thing. I think.
Yeah, because there's also another missile pack where you got the charge beam, but you needed to have the
Yeah,
bombs for it.
that's what I was going. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one it was. I was like, which one am I going to get after again? It's been a while since I recorded this. Actually, this has been like this footage that I used. I had on my channel for the longest time, and it was just sitting there, and I never had a use for it, so I used it for the League playthrough. I think it was like how many years ago? Like 4 or 5 years ago when I recorded this.
Something like that.
Yeah, good lord, that was like 5 years ago. This footage is 5 years old. Just what the heck? But I just wanted to use it because I wanted to have some use of it. Yeah, there we go. There's the last missile expansion.
This weird. This room's kind of weird too, because you still hear another one. Because it's like one of the few rooms in the game where they put multiple expansions in one area.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to come back to this room for Spring Ball, or not Spring Ball, with Spider Ball.
Yeah, you can't get the missile yet. That's in there.
Yeah. I just got it now because I can. So
The one thing that kind of like irritates me, it's kind of like an issue with pretty much every Metroid game really, is they have no good way of telling you what powers you collect in these rooms on your map. Like some of the 2D games do a good enough job telling you when there's an expansion in a room when you collect it, like the GBA games, but the Prime series does not do anything like this at all, which really sucks if you're trying to find out where expansions are and which ones you've missed, because there's no way to know.
yeah, I wish that I think Prime 3, if I remember correctly, has it marked like the GBA games. Later, whenever you were missing, like you go to like an observatory or something like that, and it scans all the worlds, and it shows you what powers expansions you're still missing, and they have it like indicated by a white dot or something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
the
something you
only
can't do right away. You have to find that location before you get that ability, which kind of sucks. But at least it's better than what the 2 Prime games did here, the first 2, where it's absolutely nothing.
Just have a guide open.